I do want to take a quick 3 to 5 minutes to talk about what does the Inventory Decision Intelligence Platform, or IDIP, mean to the Databricks team. The big difference between what we see in the market and what we're building now is very simple. Traditionally, markets, especially BI vendors, have built executive dashboards. The problem we are facing right now is that one, these BI vendors are building KPIs that are very static. If you think about a chief operating officer, they are looking at, say, a stockout rate or inventory movement as just a number. They have no idea what they're seeing, what does that mean, and why is it the way it is right now. And that's why, if you see, you guys have constantly stated that the modern data estate is not business driven at this point. It should be. So what we have essentially built is we have taken the analytics that is currently running from ERP, and we are expanding the scope of that analytics in a data warehouse. Databricks currently is one of the largest data warehouses out there. We know, in addition to ERP data, you're also getting data warehouse management system, or WMS. You're getting data from finance. You're getting data from CRM. So there is a need for global visibility of the data itself and forecasting that needs to be done end to end if you're a retail, CPG, or a manufacturing company. We essentially said inventory control tower, or inventory decision intelligence platform. It's going to have a strategic layer where a chief operating officer or a chief supply chain officer is going to start looking at strategic initiatives, supply chain optimization or operations management. Then she or he is going to hand it over to their directors or vice presidents and say, now you look at it operationally and tell me how your systems are integrated. What processes are causing the bottlenecks in the process? How can we build clean rooms that shows me good decision-making strategy? And then they're going to pass it down to their floor managers, their supply chain managers, to start looking at some specifics of inventory optimization, be it transportation management, be it dispatch monitoring, be it supplier compensation, right? Every step of the way, there are some high-level KPIs and some detailed KPIs that are constantly needed. A quick walkthrough on the Databricks architecture. Our goal is very simple. Many of your customers today have data coming from ERP, CRM, supply chain management, or SCM. Think about O9s and SAP ERP that's constantly sending data to Databricks. Our goal is to mimic that data from a real-time standpoint into a lake base. And once we land the data into a lake base, we'll go through the Delta Lake, we'll data model, and we will now show interactive KPIs, which I've already talked to you at length about in a different Loom video. If you, the executive, don't look the way an executive dashboard looks, then you can now start interacting with the dashboard. Essentially, what that means is, using your brick builder, we're going to start building AI agents to take action on the data, to take some action on the results, right? Now, here's a quick high-level thinking of what the consumption plan has looked like. Now, we're still working with your team to finalize the consumption plan. But essentially, we are looking at, from an ingestion standpoint, we have broken down the consumption into 3 different units, starting from ingesting real-time data into your lake base, going into your traditional Delta Lake architecture, be it your lakehouse pipelines and or your Delta tables and or your Unity catalog. And then last but not the least, looking at your AI/BI dashboards, right? We are probably looking at about 3,000 to 5,000 DBUs per year consumed by this DIP stack, if you will. Now, what this also gives to your customers is it's an end-to-end business value visibility. Once we get through the Accelerate funding program, we can also start looking at partnering with Databricks on the Accelerate funding part. I just want to give you a quick overview of what the consumption plan looks like. The details are being worked out, but if you quickly look at it, this is how we break down consumption plan. And then very quickly, the most important thing, what's in it for your customers? The most important KPIs we're looking at is, how can I have more working capital that I can reallocate for different initiatives within a retail CPG manufacturing organization? Think about this. 20% of your budget is right now, of a customer's budget, is allocated to marketing. What if I start looking at specifics of supply chain and start increasing marketing appropriately or possibly decreasing? How do I efficiently manage my stockouts if my supply and demand are not constantly forecasted? And keep in mind, today the forecast possibly happens once a day. We need to do a lot more analysis than that. Our inventory decision intelligence platform allows you to do more forecasting and understand what's in stock, what's out of stock. Obviously, our goal is to reduce the number of man hours. Many of you know this. Today, there's about 20 to 30 hours a week that analysts are spending working for the CEO to start building these Power BI or Tableau dashboards. The biggest pain point with that is the actual build itself. We take the assumption out of that and we start focusing on not only building the dashboard, but also talking to it using AI. Last but not the least, any executive can talk to this. It's just a conversational analytics. And then for you guys, the Databricks team, here's the value. Number one, accelerated consumption. This is a framework, a solution that you can almost plug and play with customization based on the data, based on the type of data, right? So essentially, every retail company's reference data and master data is going to be a little different. That's all we need to tweak in our asset. And in addition, this is a business-first approach. We're not building this asset focused on technology. We're building this asset focused on outcome. Last, but a very important thing is we can show this to CXOs as a go-to ready dashboard. And hopefully Databricks and us can partner together and we can be the first of many that goes out there building conversational intelligence with your AI BI dashboards. Hope that makes sense. Thank you.
Imagine you're a chief operating officer overseeing 4 departments: operations, inventory management, supply chain optimization, and finance. That's what an inventory control tower looks like. Today, your objective is to minimize stockouts and expedite freight while keeping your carbon costs below target. To achieve this, you need to evaluate your inventory management with these goals in mind. So, you start by selecting what matters most today, and then generate a dashboard. Immediately, you'll notice that these KPIs appear at the top. KPIs like these have been around for over 30 years, but here's where the difference comes in. While multiple BI tools can provide these KPIs, the uniqueness here is evident. Let me zoom in a bit to show you. Each KPI here tells a story. The story might be small, but its purpose is crucial. For instance, an increase in inventory turnover indicates greater capital efficiency. Every KPI now has a line item explaining why it's trending upward or downward. For example, if you have a slow-moving stock with a 60% major improvement, it means your stocks aren't moving as fast, but are performing better than before. Every KPI shares a narrative. If that's not sufficient, below you'll find the impact of uncontrollable factors. For instance, consider being a Kroger that orders bananas from Florida. A Category 2 hurricane in Florida will impact your banana delivery. So it's not just about the hurricane, it's about the resulting disruption. A 72-hour logistics disruption translates to a 45% capacity impact, putting $3.8 million of inventory at risk. You've ordered that much from a specific supplier. This situation indicates that actionable steps can be taken. Facing a $3.8 million potential loss means rerouting shipping to different suppliers and providers. This isn't just raw analytics. It's a narrative of events, reasons, and impacts, allowing an agent to act accordingly. For instance, you can reroute orders to a different supplier. Additionally, you can break down the data by regions or specific KPIs to reveal trends. The significant difference between traditional and AI-controlled KPIs is the narrative. This narrative helps you consider actions based on a KPI rather than just understanding what the KPI represents.